Good evening, folks, and thanks very much for coming in. A big welcome to everybody who's watching, and a special welcome to everybody who's watching in VR. Tonight's our first ever kind of test live doing VR as well. So whoever's watching in VR from Paranormal History, a very big welcome, and we hope you enjoy the live. And a special thanks to Steve for setting it all up. He's the guy that set all the VR stuff up, because I'm as thick as mince. Do you know what I mean? And I just could not do it. So big thanks to Steve for doing that for us. It's very much appreciated. Hi, Sam. So tonight, basically what it is, the lady sitting next to us, no, that's Sarah, that way. So you all know Sarah. You probably, for those who watch the Pendle special on Saturday night, Forgotten Pendle, if Joe would stop dancing about, it'd be much appreciated. I won't be kidding though. For those who watch the Pendle special Saturday night, you'd have seen Joe pop up, and nobody knows who she is. So tonight it's a get to know Joe night. So we're just going to ask her, we're just going to grill her basically. We're going to draw her over the coat. And there's Forrest joining us. Hi, Forrest.
Hi. Hello.
That's basically. Forrest got a new top tonight as well. We were very happy about, and so did Joe. So,
nice.
A big thank you to the postman. She's got a matching bear. She's got a matching panda with a top.
Oh, she's made the mascot a panda, not a ghost.
Too late. So hi to Sam, Angelina, and Andy. Hope you're all well. So you see, tonight is a get to know Joe. I'm going to teach you that way. Get to know Joe night. So, Joe, how are you? Thanks for coming in. You need to say that, don't you?
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's becoming quite a regular thing. So yeah, but no, I'm good. I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good.
So you see, you turned up on Saturday night uninvited, and I'm kidding on.
And didn't leave.
With job look on her face. Well, I mean, I've always.
Did I? I don't even know what day it is. Did I? When was Saturday? I don't know. No. Yeah, I probably did. It wouldn't surprise me. I quite often just invite myself along to things. So yeah.
I know. We read that in your CV. That you just kind of turn up at bus stops and pubs and stuff like that and just talk to people. But bless you, they all love you just as much. Yeah. So, see, we're all going to see Saturday night, but nobody actually got to ask you questions. So, obviously, we know your name's Joe, and you're from south of the border. So, how did you get into the paranormal and all that kind of stuff? Hi, Ronald, buddy.
Okay. Now, getting into the paranormal, I've always kind of felt things, like when you have that funny feeling where you can like see, best way to describe it, as a mum or a dad, you can see something happening. You see the little kid walking along the wall, you know they're going to fall off. But that sense to me was really heightened to the point where it comes through from my mum. I remember I would have been, I was in maybe year 7 at high school, and the travelling fair had come to town, and I'd asked if I could go, and she was like, not tonight, don't go tonight, any other night, but just don't go tonight. I've got a really bad feeling about it. Well, at 12, I thought I could rule the world, so I didn't listen to her. I hope she's not watching. I went to the fair, and lo and behold, there was a horrendous fight between 3 girls, and one of the girls was killed. So it all stems from having this really strong feeling of intuition for me. I didn't really do a lot with it. I had my son when I was young. I had him at 16, and everything kind of got put on the back burner. It was always there, but I didn't practice any of it. I didn't show it. I just kept it all hidden away. Just the time wasn't right for me. Then, as you do, you think, oh, a ghost walk. I was living in Leeds at the time and booked on to go to the Armley Mills. And I'm not kidding when I say I was absolutely petrified. And this was only about 5 years ago, absolutely petrified. But because I felt so scared of the unknown, I was really heightened to everything. And felt so much and saw so much. So it's always been there, but I just maybe didn't quite know how to express it without people thinking I was a bit strange, I suppose. Whereas now, I don't really care. I don't really care what people think.
You just do your own thing. How did it affect you growing up? Hi, Steve. You're now live VR. Thanks very much, Steve Murray. Hi to everybody in VR. Sorry, Joe, I was just answering Steve. How did it affect you growing up? It's like teenager years hanging about with your friends and stuff. Did you think you were kind of different or?
Not so much, because I kind of hid a lot of it away. Didn't talk about things, like if I wouldn't say to my friend, or just I'm not coming out to play today because I think we're going to have a falling out with such and such, or so I've got a really bad feeling, so I'm going to stop in. I didn't say any of that. I kind of made excuses for behaviour, if that makes sense. So I would kind of I can't come out tonight, I'm grounded, and I wasn't, but I had that feeling, so I made excuses for myself to kind of hide those feelings, to mask the way that I felt.
So when it comes to like, Carol, sorry.
I'm just saying I can relate with that. As a young child, I was the same when I was a teenager, not wanting to go to your pals because you just felt like you didn't want to go out because you knew there was going to be bother. Kind of thing.
Yeah, or not even so much, but you just had you just had like a feeling, and I relate that feeling now to if I go somewhere and I know something terrible's happened, like sinister almost, I feel like there's a brick wall that stops me from going in. Not a physical one, but mentally I can't go any further. Absolutely can't go any further. Something terrible's happened beyond that brick wall, and I can't go over that threshold. I can't do it.
So I know a lot of people think, they get the wee voice, wee niggling down at the back of their head, the wee voice saying, don't do this, don't go there. A lot of people get different explanations for it. And one explanation is it's your spirit guide trying to, or a relative of yours that's passed that's trying to basically tell you don't go. What do you think of that? Do you think you got a spirit guide or maybe a relative who's trying to warn you?
I'd like to think more along the only time that I've really felt connected to spirit by something, and it might sound really random, is an animal. I had a horse and I had him for 11 years. And I knew from the very first moment that if he would have been a person, it sounds really daft, if he'd have been a person, I'd have married him and we'd have been together forever because we were so connected. And he was with me through some of the really terrible, terrible times that I've had in my life. And that little pony was always there. So I feel more of a spirit guide now is my horse. I mean, I wear a necklace and the resin underneath is his tail, and I'll never ever take it off. It's tied at the back, it can't come off. So as far as being guided by spirit, I wouldn't so much say that I'm drawn to people, more to animals. And I like the saying, Noah built his ark for animals for a reason. Not that there's anything wrong with people, but I'm more connected to the purity and the naturalness of animals than people sometimes.
That's right. You have to have a full week. Sorry, Scott, you go, pal.
I'll just say, look, John and Alison, Steve's here, Simon's here, Penny's here, and we've got our first ever question from VR. Chantel's here as well.
Oh.
Right, no. First ever question for Joe from VR. There you go.
It's not for me. That's not for me.
Go for it.
It's not for you, Joe, sorry.
That's your answer right there. It's our answer right there.
Go for it.
Sorry,
Awkward.
Quiet tonight, ladies. My humblest apologies, Forrest. Sorry. Are you single, Forrest? There.
Yes, I am
Drag him.
single, and it will stay that for another 3 years, and then maybe another 3 years, and maybe another 3.
Right. I just seen, you know, I'll shut up, right? Sorry, Joe.
It's fine. It's fine.
So what I was going to say,
Hey.
I'll just break that conversation up now. So your soulmates really don't always have to be human.
No,
You know,
I
like
don't
as you
believe
said, you
so.
felt like you had a soulmate, and Forrest, you had a soulmate in your dog as well, actually.
I did, yeah. I've always had a bit of an affinity with animals myself. You know, it's the innocence and the purity that you get from them. You get love, you get connection, you get companionship, and you don't have to like wash pants and tell people to put washing away and not like do really irritating things like snore. Snoring's all right if it's from a dog. But
Oh, my dog.
I had the ashes of my dog put in a tattoo,
Oh,
and her
that's
name
lovely.
her name was Fennel, so I had a sprig of fennel on my right arm because I felt like I lost my right arm. And then I've just gone into working with dogs, so I love my dog, and I love all animals. I won't even kill a fly if I can help them, so I get that.
Lovely.
Yes, Dawn. Yes, there's a song in there somewhere, but I'm not going to sing it.
There is a
Joe-
song. I'm not going to. Because
Joe,
I cannot sing. Hey,
are you into sort of witchcraft and paganism and stuff like that?
Yep. Only again, that's been something that's always fascinated me. As a kind of, there's no, with many religions. So let's talk about Catholic religion. It's strict, and everybody follows the same path. Whereas with this, it's not, and there's no right, there's no wrong. You practice what you want to practice, and you practice what you feel is right, whether you're drawn to the moon, the sun, you know, any element. It's not wrong, and everybody is so understanding and kind of pretty much very genuine about things, than any religion, if that makes sense. And it's where I feel most comfortable. And some of the, you know, my best friends have been met through religion, through what I want to practice. Am I frowned upon in my little village? Do people think I'm a bit odd? Yeah, probably. There's been quite a lot of speculation and talk, you know, or they'll cross the road because I think I'm going to curse them, or I get a random message asking me if I can turn somebody into a frog. No love. Sorry, he's stuck with a husband. he's not going anywhere fast. So it's not so, you know, it's not so much that, but yeah, I do practice. I make spells, very simple, all herbal, nothing untoward in there whatsoever. I'm very drawn to fire as an element, even though it's not my element. My element's air. I'm very drawn to fire. And following the cycle of the moon is important to me too.
And do you have sort of a group of people who appreciate your interests now that you're older, than you did when you were younger? Do you sort of have people you can bounce off?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the word, or the phrase "older and wiser" is very strong. And I've learned a lot of independence through my life, and the whole that there's, you know, it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to stand on your own 2 feet, but also to have that person, or those couple of people that you can just let it all go, and them to be totally understanding of the way you are and not be so judgmental is very important. Everybody needs that.
Everybody needs a weird best mate, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think mine's in the chat somewhere. Actually, I'm sure I've seen her name. So yeah, she's in there somewhere.
Fantastic.
Looking through some of the comments, Sam's saying once it comes up, it's slowly. I was like that at the old colliery. I think Shelley will know what that means.
Feeling like
I
she
don't even
couldn't
know
go
what
in.
boiler they is.
I've been really when my granddad has come to me in my dreams and made me feel comforted. That's what I was saying earlier on, Angela. You know, sometimes your spirit guide can be a spirit guide, or it can be maybe a relative, a granddad, mum, dad. You know, can stay by you. They might not make themselves known all the time, but if they feel that you're really in kind of trouble, or you know you're really down with something, and they try to make themselves known. Sam is saying single, not ready to mingle, and Alison says hi all.
Hi, Alison.
Hi.
And okay, do you have dreams?
One of my strange. Very, very rarely. And to be honest, I can't remember the last time that I did. Deja vu more and it's when that happens, it's something very simple. I'll imagine myself sitting reading a book in a certain place and think, I've read this before, knowing fine well that I physically haven't. So I get deja vu a lot more than I have dreams. When I have dreams, it always seems to be the same reoccurring dream for maybe a couple of weeks, not every night. But it always involves a lot of water. There's always a lot of water in the dream. But it's very, very rare that I dream, very rare. Probably because I don't sleep, because my kids are nocturnal.
It's something that really interests me, dreams, because I dream constantly every night, and I'll wake up thinking, what was I just doing? But it's interesting to see how things come through for other people, you know, like I don't think I can pick up on feelings when I go somewhere haunted, but I smell things, so it's interesting to see how it works for other people, whether you can see things, feel things, hear things. So what do you pick up on? Is there anything in particular you pick up on?
Feeling, definitely. Intuition is huge for me. If it feels wrong, it's wrong. I don't, and I stopped second guessing my intuition a long time ago.
Yeah, like a gut feeling.
Because you do second. Yeah, absolutely. And again, going back to the spirit, I believe in a way that my gut feeling is my guide. It's telling me something's wrong. It's telling me it's wrong for a reason. You need to trust that. You need to trust that feeling.
Hey, Carol. Thanks for coming in, Dawn's got a comment, which was going to be it was delayed to my thing I was going to ask you next day. I'm not a witch, but most of my mates are witches. Must be a Lancashire thing. So spirit world, I have a connection to spirits since I was 7 years old. Greatest message I've had was my female on Pendle Hill near the Nick Pendle.
The Nick of Pendle. Yes, you're right. Go with that one.
So,
okay. Maybe it was.
Carry on, Joe.
Oh, maybe it might be worth us having a chat with Dawn, because geographically, that lady's very much in the know. I'm good with Dawn via Facebook, and some of the stuff she puts in is very fascinating. Oh.
I'm writing your name down, Dawn. She says, you know, says I don't. I keep a pad. Every time I keep a pad, and anything comes up in the chat, comments, anything that catches my. I need to write it down because see if I don't, about an hour later, I've forgotten all about it. So that's why I write it down. You know.
Yeah. We'll drop you a message.
Has everyone's experienced sleep paralysis? I've not. I haven't. No.
No, not me personally either.
I have.
How about
okay. Just a couple of times where it's been I'm trying to move and I can't, but I'm dreaming that I'm awake. And it's a very odd experience because you feel like you're just trapped and you're dreaming almost over your reality. Yeah, it's very odd. I don't like it.
That's
They're very scary as well.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm bad for dreams.
Get on, Cheryl.
Saying I'm really bad for dreams. Like I dreamed quite a lot last night. I had this dream that there was a helicopter right outside my window, and it had travelled just over the back there and landed in the fields. But what happened was when I woke up this morning, there was a lot of talk on social media about the military training exercises going about, and everybody was going on about all these helicopters that were really, really loud, and it was like it was just outside our bedroom window. I don't know if I was maybe subconsciously through the night hearing these things, and that's why I dreamt it. But that is just one example of the dreams that I've had. I've had loads of dreams, and then you wake up the next day and something in your dream's happening. And of course, the same as you, Joe, with the deja vu, I'm really bad for it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a lot of dreams, don't I?
You have some crackers. Actually, your dreams disturb even me. I know that's, but the thing I've found, some dreams I've had in the past, how convincing a dream can be for some reason. I remember years and years ago, I stayed at a top floor flat, and I had this real dream that I'd parked a car in the hall of the flat. Maybe I think it was 3-4 flights up, and I'd parked my car in my hallway. And I actually got up in the morning and went looking in the house for the car. That's how convinced I was. That's how real this dream was. I went looking in the house for the car, and my, partner at the time said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm looking for the car. I parked in the hall last night." And she thought I was loony, So it's real. How dreams can affect you.
See, now I dream about my teeth falling out all the time. It's always my teeth, and my mouth fills up with these shards, and I end up getting my tongue and spitting out mouthfuls of teeth, more than I've got in my entire head. And it keeps filling my mouth up, spitting all these teeth. I don't know what it means.
That's weird. Any team ever experienced that? No, not that I can remember. John,
No.
I don't know about anybody else.
No, not for me either.
I don't think I would like to even try that. To be honest.
No. Dawn says she's working hard on Pendle, which brings me to my other question, Joe. Excuse me. Hi, Claire. So everybody saw you on Saturday night on the Forgotten Pendle, and they saw you on Tuesday. Wednesday. I'm great with my days. See what I mean about my memory? See what I mean? Absolutely shocking. And so you've been asking, you're asking Karen the other night what attracted them to Pendle, but nobody actually asked you. So what attracted you to Pendle in the first place?
Okay, so it's something very, very small. I took my kids into Blackpool Dungeon for a bit of a laugh. We were on a day out. Why not? Let's go and scare my kids. So we go in, but there was a whole kind of exposition thing of the Pendle Witches. And as soon as I sat down, and it was staged as if they were in a cave, but now knowing more of the story, it was probably likely to have been the quarry that it was kind of staged in. And something inside me said, you need to know who these people were. You need to tell a bit kind of like in the way Karen says it about Jeanette, you need to tell their story. You need to know who they were. And it all stemmed from going on a family trip to the Blackpool Dungeons. And it just massively consumed my life for probably over two and a bit years. Just sucked me in. I can't find out enough or research enough, read enough, watch enough. So yeah. So that's how they came into my life.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you any more on Pendle because as everybody knows, we're covering Pendle over the next so many weeks and what have you. So I'm not going to, get into the whole Pendle thing. I just wanted to know what's that.
However, it's
interesting.
This is gripping me at the moment. Eyam, the plague village.
So you tell us about it?
Is Eyam an actual village?
It is, yeah. It's a beautiful place in Derbyshire. Only a tiny little village. In 1664, a package of cloth was shipped from London, and we all know what was happening in 1663, 4 and 5 London. It was the Great Plague. And this package of cloth arrived in Eyam and was wet. It was aired over an open fire. The heat from the fire woke up the tiny fleas that bit the tailor's assistant, and the plague came to Eyam. I'm going to tell you any more because we're going to cover that. But yeah, so and the whole village cut themselves off. They put themselves into isolation and cut themselves off to save everybody else in the other villages around. So I'm saying I'm not going to tell you anymore. I can't stop now. So very briefly, the vicar at the time, William Montpesson, was only 24, and he convinced his parishers that faith over fear, and to just stay as they were, stay in their village, don't run away, and wait for the plague to come knocking at their door. And that's pretty much what almost maybe 98% of the village did, bearing in mind a few that did leave. So yeah, harrowing, a very sad, incredibly sad tale, but immensely harrowing at the same time. So yeah, we will wait till we've done Pendle and we'll move into Eyam.
Watch this space, as you say.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's a cave near Pendle, it's known as Cromwell's Cave. Not many people know about it.
So perhaps where it could have been. Maybe they met there then. Yeah, see, I told you. Worth a message. Thanks, Dawn.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dawn.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you can.
What is on your top 3 list of places that you want to visit and why?
Oh, right, okay. That's a really hard question.
Is it really? You don't have to answer it. You can come back to it later. Like an interview. Top 1?
Well, I can just kind of wake up and think, I want to go there. Or it sounds really silly, and I'm sure, this side and this side are going to think I'm bizarre when I say this. I used to watch the weather, and I was really drawn, I don't know why, but to visit Fort William. And I've always said this, I don't know what's there, don't know anything about it. I've never even looked it up. But just for I was really drawn to go there. I probably wouldn't say it's my number 1 because it's probably no relevance whatsoever. But yeah, it's on the bucket list to go there.
Joe,
I'll just think. Is it worth going to then, or is it just something I've just randomly thought?
Kind of like a gateway to other parts of Scotland, I would say. I mean, you've got to go there to get to the Highlands. So, but it is definitely worth a visit.
It's
not random then. I noticed nobody laughed either when I said it.
Ben Nevis is there.
Okay.
It's in the middle of the Great Glen. Oh, yes, it kind of joins the two of them together. Fort William sits in between them.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a visit. Zoe Curtis. Sorry, Zoe, I totally missed your comment off the forest. Zoe has the same tooth dream as well.
I can tell you something about the tooth dream.
Go on.
tooth dreams are if you dream about your teeth falling out, apparently. It's when you're going through a kind of important part of your life. So maybe you're moving house, or you're going to get married, or you're going to sit your driving test, and that's obviously where I've heard this. And when you're going through times like that, you often have dreams of your teeth falling out. And it's funny that question came up. That when I was teaching someone to drive, and I says to her, I says, have you ever had a dream when your teeth have fell out? And she says, no. And then the next lesson, she came back to me and said, Shelley, I had a dream that my teeth fell out, but then when I woke up, my son's tooth actually did fall out. I thought, how weird and wacky is that?
Cursed her. You cursed her.
Yeah.
I think I did. If she's watching, she will know who this is. I know what I'm talking about.
See, now I
That
read
is
that
weird.
each tooth represents a member of your family. There was quite a few interpretations, but apparently each tooth represents a member of your family. And I just thought, I haven't got that many members of family, you know, just spitting time mouthfuls over and over. So I don't know if it was a stress dream or what, but I have that all the time.
Ah,
So, Joe, what about, also, what have you, what about paranormal investigations? Have you done many of them? And what's your thoughts? Did you get any results out of them?
On that, yeah, I've done quite a few. I've to be fair, in lots of different locations. For me, I find using equipment really hard, because not so much that it's kind of a trust sense, but if there's something that you're going to feel that you're going to know about it, you're going to, and having equipment sometimes can back up what you're feeling. So for me, I'd be quite happy to, say for pulling out, I'd be quite happy to do pulling out and using myself best tool of sensing if anything was there. And I like to, if I'm, going with, with a group, then I kind of like to put that across that equipment can be good fun, but sometimes you get too fascinated in, for who's crazy, but what they don't realize is, I went up to Pendle Hill and I had my I was given a K2 and I filmed it with my phone, or I put it live on Facebook. The K2 is going to go crazy. Well, of course it is. Your phone's here. So sometimes, stuff like that, I kind of trust your own instincts.
Yeah,
it's
the best thing is your own senses. And Sarah will tell you, I don't go for gadgets because excuse me, I can't work them. Basically, that's why I don't use them. I don't know how to work them. So I don't even try. And I'm totally honest about it. I like the laser pen. That's about it.
Even then, you get frustrated with that when it doesn't work.
When it doesn't work, I get really. It's just the way I am. Technology and that. To me, if you press an on button, the thing should go on. If it doesn't go on, then I get annoyed. You think, why is this not working? You do everything, you change the batteries, or you plug it back in, and that's where my knowledge ends. Do you know what I mean? So, I do get quite easily annoyed.
You're just old school, darling.
I'm just old school, as I get told all the time.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
such as
I agree with that. Yeah.
I like a bit of tech.
Do you have a favourite thing, Forrest? Do you have a favourite thing that you like to use?
I like the ghost box, but it can be a little bit noisy. So I'll only put that on briefly. But what I really like is the cat balls, the flashy cat balls, because they've gone off a few times in amazing circumstances, and they've gone across the floor, But I really want a paranormal puck, which is you ask the question on your phone app, and then the device answers it with words. I quite like those, like the Ovilus, with the words. But I haven't got a
Yeah.
spare £400 to treat myself to one of those just yet. But they fascinate me. I like it. I like the idea of them.
So if
But I'm
you
quite
would,
an earthy person.
yeah, if you would like to date the forest, buy one of those. It might be a way in.
Yeah. I quite like earthy stuff though, so I'd love to be able to feel things, as some other people do, and just pick up on things. And I do on occasion. But yeah, I do like playing with a bit of technology.
It is good to have an all-round situation, to be able to feel things, pick up on the energies that you've got, and if you can document it and so that you can back it up and it's not just a personal experience, then I genuinely think that then the tech becomes its own then. But your own personal experiences, if somebody else could feel that and see it and they could prove that you've had that experience, then brilliant. But sometimes you just need a wee bit of tech just to help you out that way.
Yeah, and I think with me, I've got the crappiest ghost power where I smell things. So I just walk in and go, "Can you smell that? It smells like a fire," and no one else can smell it. I'm like, "Oh, is that all I've got?" Like vampires get cool superpowers, like they can read people's minds. Forest gets to smell things. Great. How useful.
That's a bit of a problem. We just got a question. What are your thoughts on seances or Ouija boards? Do you have any experience of these?
Joe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, right, yeah, that way. So talking of seances first. It's the dance thing, isn't it? We're back to doing the dance.
Big box,
Seance,
cardboard.
Angela.
Just be a little bit.
Helene, yeah, absolutely. I practice both. Again, Ouija boards, it's only going to work. You're doing it with people that you absolutely trust. Never ever do them alone. A lot of people say never do them in your own house, and never leave the planchette on the board. My thoughts on, do they work? Yes, absolutely. I prefer more than a seance and a Ouija board, but I always make sure that they're done correctly and everything's opened right and it's closed down. It's never open. Hopefully that's answered your question. Whenever I do use a Ouija board, I usually get called really bad words, and it happens to be when I'm in Pendle. Awful words. All letter word begins with a C and ends in a T. I get called that a lot. I have been called a witch. And yeah, so I usually get sworn at using a Ouija board. While being ill.
She's froze again. No, she's there. I thought you'd froze again. So, what about seances?
Oh, I don't think so.
Have you ever took part in a seance?
More than, more for the calling of the spirits. So certain religions, certain, not religions, times of year when you celebrate things, kind of rituals, will do. So I like to symbolic. So it's the 1st and the 2nd of February. I'm quite drawn to that one because it's the new beginning. It's the bringing back. In a way, I suppose it's the witch's new year. It's bringing in new life. So I like to celebrate that, but more for the calling, the opening. I see a seance, the opening of the door. I'm holding it not for just because I feel like it. I'm opening it and I'm doing it for a purpose. And 9 times out of 10, I'm either asking for guidance or I'm looking for someone or giving thanks.
Right. You're into, obviously you do your witchcraft, you're into paranormal, you're big into history as well. What would you say your favourite one?
Yes.
Everything was. What's your kind of favourite thing you like to spend time on?
That's a hard question too. Probably the history goes with both of them. I feel, you know, with both the paranormal and the witchcraft, because everything can go so far back, and practice whatever you practice. You're not the first person to practice that. It's gone back years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very into the history side of storytelling. I find that absolute. I was a primary school. I worked in primary schools for a long time, and found if you were able to bring something to life through a story, it could make it much more real for that person. It would become as almost as if they were there, if that makes sense. So bringing the history to life through a story would then aid in the paranormal. For example, if we're on an investigation, your story, if it's so good, when somebody comes through, a name comes through or whatever, if you've told it well, everybody's going to be able to relate to who that name could possibly relate to. Depending on, to pick a favorite would be very hard. But as of I probably couldn't narrow it down, because there's so many different things that I practice daily that sometimes I don't realize that I'm doing. But I love telling stories. I love the stories. Yeah, really do.
Because
And apparently I'm quite good.
You've got the kind of
Narrative.
narrative voice, you know, for doing it.
Yeah.
And you're a bit like a female Simon in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Simon.
Yes, I have been called that.
Sorry, Simon, if you're watching. You know, it's been meant in the best possible way.
Complimentary.
Aye, that's the word. Aye, that's the word. So obviously, Joe, you're a witch, and Forrest is a witch. Underneath you, Forrest is a witch. How would you say, you know, use compare as in, I don't know, styles or the lady underneath you, styles and stuff like that? If that's a sensible question.
So pretty much I'm pretty eclectic. So I have my own path. I choose what I want to, you know, what I want to do with it. I don't follow anything, you know, anything strict. I mean, a lot of people have like a witch's diary, and in that is every festival, there's every full moon, there's everything. Do I practice them all? No. I practice ones that I feel drawn to, or I feel that are important to me. So I'm very much, I choose what fits the life that I want and mold it to fit my life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Forrest. I'm not sure what kind of movement she's in, but yeah, that's what I do.
I think because I was a thinker. I was a thinker, and I couldn't deal with emotion when I was younger. I didn't like conflict. I didn't like speaking out. I was very meek, believe it or not. And it was a way for me to project what was in here outside in a positive way. So I started reading up on it and buying books, you know, like you do. And some books just blew my mind because it's like star charts and formulas, and I was like, what's this? For me, it's quite simplistic. I think I'm what they describe as a hedge witch. You know, I just do it on my own. It's self-learned, but I use it to focus. So if I want something to happen, it's like positive affirmations and stuff like that. But it's only ever good. I would never want to hex anybody because I'm not that kind of person anyway. But for me, I want this to happen. I'm going to focus and gather and prepare and just, you know, use that energy and put it into. Oh, come on, poof, you know, and that to me is a good outlet, and it's a positive outlet, and I really enjoy doing it when I've got the spare time and the peace and the incense on. yeah, it's like a focus point for me. So
Absolutely.
So is that how you do it? You do a spell, just, you know, do come on, poof, and that's it. I like that. That was a
thy will be done. But it is, yeah,
Got another
not
question.
everyone wants to know.
Yeah.
I got another question
Yeah.
for
So
Angelina
you know,
before-
we are very similar.
So he's that kind of similar, but not, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
I'd say-
In a way.
I think so.
Shelley,
Yeah,
you're not
you
much by any chance.
No, my man's just said yes. Yes. I mean, generally,
Yeah. Do you
I'm
want to
really
share
into
things?
witchcraft side of things. I love listening to witchcraft, listening to the two. I think we're sorted. We've got the witches on the board and thinking how good that is. I've always been into witchcraft and Wicca. I don't know if that's just a thing. You either want to be involved in it or you don't.
We've witches on our team now. So, you know, better watch
Could be,
out.
there could be another one. I've got two
Fair
trainers.
Well, possibly, what is it, the power of four or something? I mean, power of three, so that's the child, isn't it?
I'm trying to think of that.
Here's a question before I get tired. I'll come to your question. Promise, Angela, in 2 seconds, I'll promise. See these programs like Charmed and what have you that you get on the TV about witches and, you know, stuff. What do both of you think about that? What do you all think about programs like that? You know, they've got a book up in the loft and they say something and a guy goes in fire. Basically.
Well, stranger things have happened. No, I'm joking. It's a little bit like, you can compare that to the film Jumanji. You know, it's if you're going with your kids, don't mean you're going to have elephant racing through your house. I think a lot of the time it's massively misinterpreted, even to this day. I mean, you know, we talk a lot about the witches or the people of Pendle of 1612, and how misinterpreted they were. I still feel that I feel misinterpreted. I still feel, you know, like the message. Can you turn him into a frog, or, you know, can you do a money spell? I want to go to Bahamas for 2 weeks all inclusive when lockdown lifts. Come on, you know, give me a break. So it can be massively misinterpreted. And I have to think it's made a film because it's probably so dramatized. Just to captivate people, just to captivate people. Absolutely, yeah.
Hollywoodized. I mean, they've taken a beautiful thing, like, you know, getting your cauldron, your herbs, and all that, and they've turned it into this Hollywoodized, glamorized. We can do anything. We've got the power of magic. You know, we're penny crayon. We can draw something. It just happens. If you believe in magic, you see the magic in the world. If you are a hateful person, you see all the hate in the world. So yeah, it's magnified and amplified into this ridiculous thing, really, and it's different for everybody. It's how you interpret it. I mean, I like to see the beauty in things. So the more you look for beauty, the more you see, and the more positivity you put out, the more you see. So it's down to the person, really.
Absolutely.
But it's definitely not Hollywood. I can't turn dogs into horses or anything like that. That's just silly.
Can I ask a wee
Pumpkins
question
into
related to
carriages.
that?
Yeah.
Which are both of your opinions on the Bell Witch? Because we haven't really spoke about the Bell Witch a lot, but it's been made into a movie and stuff like that. But do you know much about the Bell Witch?
I don't, to be honest.
No,
Not as much. No.
Who's the Bell Witch?
Not really. Only really, you know, kind of.
Who is she? Who is she? Who is she?
You know, Nady, you've not heard of the Bell Witch?
I have
mean, they
heard
did
of it,
make.
but I don't know the story. So
I think I've seen
I'm
the
pretty
trailer,
sure.
yeah. I've seen the trailer for it, but
Aye. It was a female spirit that was targeting a family, and they pretty much blamed it on a witch. I think it was the 1500s, 1600s. I could be wrong, though. I don't want to say that I'm right when I could possibly be wrong. And it was dramatised, and it was moved into a movie, and there was programmes relating to it. So quite a big thing, and it's no sure it's in America.
It's
no, I
a
haven't
bit.
heard.
I might be wrong with this, but I'm sure it's based on a family called Bell. The father was called Thomas Bell. Hi, Freaky Geek, thanks for coming in, buddy. And it's something to do with one of his daughters was possessed by the spirit of what they thought was a witch, and that's why it was called the Bell Witch. Whether it's true or not, they did make a film with it, and I think they've done a couple of documentaries about it, but it's something we have never looked into. But I can certainly get an American team to, to dig in. I can get Jennifer Mappy to dig into it. But that's the kind of, I might be wrong, but that's the kind of outline. The daughter was possessed by some kind of spirit, and that's why she's called the Bell Witch, because of the Bell family.
Can't say I've ever heard of it.
I'm sure the father was Thomas. Donald Sutherland played the father in the film, to what I remember.
Can I just say, Shelley, that I am an illustrator and I have a degree in illustration and I've done loads of art courses. I do art all the time. You ask me about artists, I ain't got a clue, mate. I know about 3. And that's how I am with witches.
it is, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly the same. Yeah, unless you're around in Pendle in 1612, then about you, or a little bit about old Meg Shelton. Yeah, I know a bit about her.
I'm sure there's witches out there, but they're not in my life. I do watch the odd witchy thing and witchy film, but I'm not an expert. I just do it on my own, just like my art. I just sit in my room and do it, So, sorry, can't answer the Bell Witch question.
Oh, well, it's just something the American team can, we'll get them to deal with that.
Yeah,
We
man.
can
That's
get
them.
them look into Angelina had a question a wee while ago. Sorry, Angelina, it just took so long to get to it, though. How do you incorporate your witchcraft into your daily routine?
I would start with a positive affirmation. It's always, even when you're feeling rubbish, you've always got to try and look at a positive, even if it be I'm up, I'm awake, I stand, down to something that's maybe a life choice that you make that's not so much for you but for the good of others. You always start your day with something very positive, which I do. I think my biggest affirmation is I had enough. Because well, a lot of the time we feel like we're not, don't we? So I always, I wake up in the morning and I just think, just take a minute to go, do you know what, you've got this, you are good enough. Just smash it, go out and smash it. If it don't work, it don't work, try again, but you are good enough. Then down to something very cleansing bath or a cleansing shower. My life is hectic, massively hectic, and I'm quite surprised that I don't have any in my bedroom right now. So I'll do something like a cleansing shower. So I'll take herbs that I choose for if I'm feeling a bit tired, if I'm feeling a bit run down, choose things to maybe energize me. Really simple. Take a pan of water, put in everything that you feel that you need to add, boil it up, let it cool down, take it off the heat, strain it through a sieve or a colander, so that you're not going to get bits of leaves and petals all stuck to your bits and pieces for the day. Have a shower. End of your shower, whack it straight over your head. Tip that water straight over your head. You can do the same with a bath. And again, if I'm feeling in pain, if I'm feeling run down, if I'm feeling frustrated, then I mix up each cleanse posset to help me with that. Now and again, it's nice to have a bath, but yeah, it's usually cleansing showers. And if I'm just about, I use the same thing: shampoo, Pantene, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and then I go and get the pan of water. And if I've been in the shower a little bit too long and I tip it over me and it's really cold, yeah, watch out for that. Watch out for that. So yeah, because that can give a shock in your system. If you're feeling a bit tired, it's great, but if you're not, it's not great. Candles play a huge. I mean, it's quite hard to see from this angle. The candles play a massive part in, again, positive affirmations. I believe the power of the flame of a candle is really important. But ever blow my candles out, always make sure they're safe and they're not going to catch fire to anything. But I believe that the power of a candle is serving a purpose. So every candle I light, I think of something. I think of something that I want to change. I think of something that I need to achieve. It's really small, really, really small. I want to stay in bed an extra 5 minutes, light that candle. Or I hope my little lad has a really good day at school tomorrow. Light that candle.
Mm-hmm.
And if you run out of stuff to think about, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because if you run out of stuff to think about, that's when you've lit enough candles. So as you can tell from my room, I'll show you very briefly. You can see in my head, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Can you see all those? Yeah. So there's a lot of things that do in my head a lot that I require a lot of candles for. So yeah. That's pretty much the main ways that it impacts on my daily life, is positive thoughts and intentions.
Freaky's just froze again. Now she's back. I don't know if this is a serious Freaky. I don't know if this is a serious question, but Freaky's quite a character. A funny character. He's a really nice. Well, he's really nice. Quite a funny character.
Honestly, in all honesty, with what I believe, no, you couldn't. I believe that candles are coloured and they have a purpose. I'm just going in with my drawer of many candles. So I won't have one in there, but say, for example, a black candle, or people talk about the black flamed candle. To me, I use a black candle. I've got one here actually. So this is like a witch candle that I make. So you can't quite see, it looks a bit grey, but it's darker. So this is, to me, is my black candle. You can't substitute a battery for the real flame, because it's the flame that gives you the power. It's the flame that ignites the spell. So it's black for negative energies. It's influenced and infused with frankincense and rosemary, which to me are the biggest negative energy repellent scents that I like to use. So the answer to your question, me personally, no. Tea light candles, the tiny little tea light candles, they're just as good. You don't need a church pillar candle that's going to burn for 3 months. You don't need that. Just a tea light candle would work just as well. But it's the power, for me, it's the power of the flame that is the power of your intention.
Do you like your candles? Hey, Kate.
I love candles.
What do you call them?
Wax melts.
Wax melts. She's already wax. Stinks the place out. Dries my lips up, but I find. Don't know why, but dries my lips up. Right?
Well, yeah, possibly. But to melt your wax melt, do you have one of those electric diffusers, or do you use a candle underneath?
Both.
Okay, so at the back over there, I have a burner over there, and I have one that side of the room. Again, not electric. It's all done with the power of fire, and I choose the scent very carefully as to what I need in my life. So as much as I'd love my house to smell like black cherries or Coco Chanel, it doesn't do me any favors whatsoever for my purpose. So in that one, I've got sage, and in that one I've got frankincense that burns at the minute and cleansing, and I need to make sure that I haven't got negative energies, because I've got a few negative things in life. So I need that little bit of a boost. So yeah, definitely choose fragrance to help the way you're feeling.
What is the worst smelling oil that you've used in anything? You've got a smell that you really can't stand.
Oh, well, there's quite a few. And there's quite a few. There's quite a few. I'll just so that I keep them all in this little box. It's probably got to be, now I'm not sure it's because it smells a bit like fly killer, and nobody really wants a candle in the house that's going to smell like citronella, like fly killer. So the I pronounce it the cypress. That doesn't do me any favors at all, and I very rarely use that one. I don't think it serves much of a purpose. Sometimes if you're burning sage, it can smell like an illegal substance if you buy really cheap sage. It can make your house you got where I'm coming from with this one. It can give your house the wrong kind of aroma, but if it's not good sage. So yeah, really cheap sage is bad and fly killer.
I've just started to grow my own American Californian white sage on the window ledge, and I've got 5 plants growing. I've never grown it before, but I thought I'm going to grow the good quality stuff, And it's the slowest growing plant I've ever grown in my life. It's about this big, and it's nearly a year old. All 5 of them. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's going to take me ages to get my bush ready.
But cheap sage. Anybody that's getting into it or fancies cleansing their house, be very careful what you buy on Amazon, because it's probably not the right stuff that you need.
It's geranium for me. I hate geranium.
Oh, okay. Oh, I quite
really
like that.
Overpowering, really stenchy, and I'm not keen on patchouli either. Patchouli's pretty nice.
Oh, so that's my witch geranium candle there.
Is it not really?
I don't mind that one. No, I'm very careful with what I use, and I put a carrier oil with it just in case. So yeah.
Oh, I could talk about this all night.
This is a slow means less trimming.
A slow growing bush means less trimming.
Valid point.
Thanks for that. So, is there anybody that's kind of influenced you in your life through your witchcraft or paranormal? Is there anybody sort of big major influence, famous or just an everyday person?
That I get inspiration from, you mean, or anybody that's kind of gone, don't want to be in your life, you're crackers?
No, everybody kind of gained inspiration from, want to keep going with it.
Myself, my own inspiration. Yeah, I'd like to think that I'm quite a strong person, maybe a bit stubborn, and I need to do. If it doesn't inspire me, then I won't be doing it. I won't be doing it, and I won't try and enforce it onto others. A lot of people say, "How can you buy your kids Christmas presents if it's not your religion?" And I say no, because it's not my religion, but it's not up to me to choose if it's their religion or not. So I open all the doors, pretty much celebrate as much as I can with the children. So when they're old enough, they can choose their own path of life. It's took me, 30 years as such to be able to express over 30 years, to be able to express and practice the religion that I want to and the way of life that I want to live. For me personally, to put that on my children, I don't think is right. I think it should be them to make up their own mind as to which side of the fence or to which side they want to be on. So no, I don't really think that there's anybody that's kind of influenced me. I'd like to think that maybe I've influenced other people into opening their eyes a little bit more, that you know, we're not a cult. I don't sacrifice, you know, goats by moonlight. I don't do any of that.
You don't?
It's never been requested. It's never been requested, or I've never partaken, should I say? Yeah, I've never been partaken in any of that. But yeah, just to opening it up and say, you know, kind of like my little like spell kits and stuff. And people have said, oh, you know, I've been suffering for headaches for such a long time, and I'm finding living off painkillers. I say, okay, well, in my opinion, you need to stop your painkillers and have this. You know, like this candle, follow the instructions, tip the herbs into the bag, carry it with you. Because being back to, you know, to the witchcraft of 1612, what I'm doing for my community and some of the people in my community is no different to what the witches of Pendle would have done in 1612.
Except back then, obviously, it was, you know, taboo, and it was looked upon an entirely different way as it is looked upon today, or back even, you know, beginning in the 17th century, things started to change, you know, to the view from witchcraft, etc. So just before we wind it up, Joe, Forrest asked you a question earlier on about your 3 locations. I think you only gave her 1. We're still waiting for 2.
Yeah, try to get out of that one. I bet that's written in the pad, wasn't it? That was in the notepad. I've actually, you know, thought about, I would really like to go there because of a certain reason. I'm quite well travelled. I was very lucky. I've been Australia. I've been to Africa, Spain. So I like to think that, you know, I am quite well travelled, but I'm more drawn to, if it tells a good story, then I'd go. If there's history around, then I want to know it, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't really say that I have a list of top places. Only really Fort William, and I was drawn to that from watching the weather. So yeah, for some, just the name kind of bizarre. Places.
No.
Yeah.
It's
really
the moon. The moon would be a good place to go, I think.
Well,
Where?
Yeah.
The moon.
One way.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't like heights.
Send a few children off.
well, we just Shelley on that one, the moon.
Just contacting Elon Musk.
You know what I mean?
Well, like Shelley, she's always that wee bit unique.
Eccentric.
Yeah.
No, it's bizarre someday being attracted to Fort William because of the weather report. You know.
It's always raining.
If you watch
it's always raining in Fort William.
On the map, you kind of think, oh, I
yes,
wonder what it's like.
Yeah.
It's lovely though. It's really, really lovely. And then you can go to Rob Valley, Canary Take. I'll take you,
been
Joe.
There many a time where I drove with Chucks. I stayed overnight there, stopped over for dinner, you know, and passed through it hundreds of times. It's a beautiful town. Yeah. And where it's situated, it's just kind of perfect where it's situated.
We never get that far up.
No, we never actually. A couple of times I've set off to go, but we've never made it that far yet. But I think we'll wind it up there, folks, because of the VR. So thank you very much, Joe, for letting us interrogate you.
Well, it was all right. It was all right. A little bit of the boring stuff. I'm 38, 8 kids, live in a tiny little village. You know, that's as interesting as I get.
No, it was boring. I just thought it'd be a good idea. As I say, people saw you on Saturday, Forgotten Pendle. You just kind of appeared, you know. This, you know, Forrest. We've had her on a few times, so people kind of recognised her. I mean, in a good way, Forrest. So you know, but you just kind of popped up with it. So I thought, you know, I get to know Joe Knight. But I think we'll wind up there. So for everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube, and
Thank you.
yeah, thank you very much for coming in, folks. We'll be back on Saturday. You'll be seeing Joe again, Shelley again on the Pendle next Tuesday. I think it's the Pendle live again next Tuesday.
Yep,
But last thing I'm going to say, before we go, if you look up our Facebook page, you'll see there was a painting posted tonight. It's actually the cover image for our Darkest Mile coming up. It's an absolute amazing painting, and it was done by that young lady down in the corner, Forrest. Give it a wee look because it's
very talented.
So thank you very much, Forrest, for again for doing that for us. But jump on the Facebook page. Yeah, got it bang on. Forrest done it. Forrest did it.
I did it. It was all my fault. Blame me.
Oh, lovely.
But, give it a wee, jump on the Facebook, give it a wee, give it a look, or start again. Let's see what, this is what happens when you run a panel and it's full of witches and ladies. You get totally lost. Do you know what I mean? Facebook page, Fossey Painting, absolutely amazing. Thank you very much for coming in.
Lovely.
And,
thank you.
Take care. You see you the next time we're on. And
Yeah,
thanks, everybody. And thanks very much again, Steve, for that. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.